What's up, my man?
How are you?
Great to see you.
It's great to see you. You look fantastic. The California vibes suit you well, my friend.
Thanks.
Uh, I'm still trying to digest all this. My basic take on the Sixers' loss to the Hawks last night in Game 4 was I still feel like the Sixers are the better team here, but they're not going to be the better team if they don't have Joel Embiid firing on all cylinders. So that's my only concern coming out of Game 4. How about you?
That's your only concern coming
That's
out
my
of Game 4?
only concern right now. I still think if Joel Embiid's 100% healthy, they win this series.
Oh,
If he's
man.
not, then I have major concerns.
I have way more concerns than you. Sure, yeah. Embiid being healthy is absolutely important. He looked awful tonight. He did not look like himself. He looked like he was hunting for fouls rather than actually playing basketball, which is a concerning thing. But when you put up 38 points as a team in the half, that's disastrous. And I think like this team, my biggest concern for this team all season long has been how thin they are offensively. And it's wild to think, but you lose a Danny Green and like all of a sudden they're even more thin. And at the end of the game, like not saying like Danny Green would have been the difference in this game. I'm just saying like to highlight how thin they are. I mean, like Toby disappeared. Curry couldn't buy a bucket in the second half. Embiid was over in the second half. You can't get Ben Simmons anywhere near the ball late in the game. I mean, and you're looking at this and you're going, okay, well, Embiid was over in the second half. Who's going to score to keep them in this or win it? And the answer was nobody. So, yeah, Embiid's the key to the series, but offensively, they are dreadful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it felt like I almost felt like it was that old Superman complex where it was like, oh, no, Joe's still playing, so Joe's going to get something done. And it just wasn't there. I mean, he was, of all the Sixers, I mean, he was the one that was, I mean, really struggling throughout this game. Is it a concern for you that it's a conditioning issue, or is it a concern for you that it's a knee issue?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not so much a conditioning person for him. Like, I think when he gets to the line, even when he's tired, he's money. He just had a bad night offensively. And then, yeah, the knee is a concern for sure. But on a night where, you get the Hawks to shoot 36% from the floor and 30% from three, and they still pull off the win. I mean, that's not good. That's yet another concern. Throw that on my other list of concerns. My list keeps growing. You only have one guy on your list.
I got one guy. Yeah.
I got a very long list.
So, all right. So it comes to the rest of the series then. Obviously, it shifts back to Philadelphia. And it's one of those things where in Game 1, I didn't expect the Hawks to be the second coming of the Warriors, which I think we've talked about a lot in Philadelphia over the last 2 weeks. But I also didn't expect them to be this bad and still win, like you just pointed out. So what version of the Hawks do you think we see? Do you think we see the lights out version from Game 1, or do we see a little bit more of what we saw in this particular game where they were really struggling from the field?
Well, I want to add yet another concern on here because first half, I mean, the Sixers looked outstanding, right? But in the second half, even when Trae Young wasn't really having his best game offensively, I mean, what did he shoot from the field? He was 8 for 26. It took him 26 shots to score 25 points. Normally, you'd take that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Except for that pick and roll combination with him and John Collins, and then even with him and Clint Capella. I kept saying the whole night when I'm watching the game, when his shot's not falling, you feel like you have a chance against him. Except when he gets into the lane, then all of a sudden it's disastrous, right? Because the minute he gets in the lane, one, he can convert. Two, he can get fouled, and then he's going to convert from the line, or he can drop a dime on the pick and roll, or he's kicking out to any number of shooters. So, like, there's any 4 number of scenarios. Maybe the fifth is that you stop him, but in the second half, he was just dishing it out, and like he realized that he wasn't good offensively. So I think to answer your question, I'm concerned that on a night when Trae Young is not shooting well, they still figured out how to produce offense with Trae Young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with him being hurt, obviously, I agree with that. That is, I guess I should just keep a list of our concerns. Yeah, maybe you'll make me more worried by the time we finish this interview.
What kind of Philadelphian are you that you're not freaking out right now? It's freak out time.
Yeah, I understand that. It's weird. I'm not feeling it. I still feel like the Sixers are the better team, and I feel like Game 1, the Hawks were just unbeatable. I mean, they threw everything in the ocean. They threw everything in the net, and everything was fine. At the end of that game, you still lost by 4 points. They were still in that game. This game, obviously you got a really bad version of the Atlanta Hawks, but you got the worst version in the playoffs from your best player. And I think that's overall what is my major takeaway. Like, I don't expect the Sixers as a team to play that bad again, offensively speaking, especially if they know they're going to be without Joel Embiid, or if they know they're going to have him and he's going to be much better come Friday.